Welcome to Booktopia TV. I'm John Purcell, and I'm here with internationally best-selling author Kathy Reichs to talk about her new book, Bones of the Lost. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you.
I've just finished Bones of the Lost, and I have to admit that it's my first Kathy Reichs. You've won a new reader. What I'm surprised with, having read a lot of people's, in my job I read a lot of people's books, and I've often come at the end of their careers, some of the big names of publishing, and some of the biggest sellers. And I've always found that there's a slowing down in people's writing. And this is the 16th novel in the series. This reads like someone's first or second or third novel when they're really raring to go. This is an amazing piece of writing. I really enjoyed it, and I did actually end up staying up late like the traditional reader of a crime novel would. I was quite amazed at the detail and also the intricacy of the plot. There's so much going on. It ends up there's the scenes in Afghanistan which completely took me by surprise. How did that come about? How did you end up in Afghanistan?
I went with a USO tour, United Service Organization. There were 5 authors invited. We went on, not like Bob Hope and Anne Margaret with the big production shows, but we met one-on-one with the troops in small group settings, wherever they work, in the aircraft squadrons or in the hospitals or training dogs or wherever they happen to be. And we just interacted with them to thank them for their service, for going over there.
Well, I mean, the war in Afghanistan has been going on for, 13 years. And this is the closest I've read lots of articles and the like, and this really gave me a great sense of what it was like. Because your character, Temperance Brennan, is not concentrating, on telling us a story about the war or anything. She's concentrating on her task at hand, which allows the rest of it to be the background. Mm-hmm. And I got very close to life in Afghanistan, sometimes a bit too close. The landing, coming into land, was horrific. Was that close to reality?
Where they're landing in the C-130 transport, it was exactly close to reality. It goes totally black and then it just plummets down, and because you have to move quickly because you could take a rocket or a mortar. And
so you're in danger most of the time you're in there? Do they give you any sense of how much danger you're in?
Well, I had to wear 40 pounds of personal body armor and a helmet the whole time, so that gives you a sense that there might be somebody out there shooting.
And when this, it starts off with one particular crime, and it affects Temperance very much, and then it moves off into this greater understanding of what was behind this particular small crime. Her, I suppose, her warmth comes through. I mean, she's very scientific. She looks at everything very objectively. But I was very attracted to her reaction to that first initial crime, which I think was probably one of the first things that drew me into this novel. Is that something that leads you in your own career?
It does. The book opens with the discovery of a hit-and-run victim, and she's working with a detective who's a bit cynical, and right away decides it's an undocumented prostitute. Well, Tempe thinks that's a bit rushing to judgment since we have no idea who this young girl is. So she feels a real commitment to getting this young girl identified, figuring out what happened to her, because it was a hit and run, but there's something really odd about the fracture patterning that just doesn't seem right. So yeah, she does feel like, because her own daughter's off in a war zone, and she keeps thinking, well, what happens if nobody tells me and something happens to my daughter? Someone is missing this young woman. Someone's missing their daughter. So that's why she feels very committed to it.
Well, it's a tribute to your understanding of your character and the writing of that character, that someone like me who's not read it before can pick it up and understand Tempe as well as I did, and to fall for her as much as I did, without having to read all the other books. I am now going to go read back and try to catch up. What I got the feeling with this was how difficult it might be for somebody to write a character after they've been in print 15 other times, and all the details of their lives in there. In one sense, you've written a lot of crime novels, and at the one time you're writing one big novel about one particular woman, and that's a pretty big novel now. How do you make sure that all that's kept in tune, that you're being true to the character that started out in Deja Dead?
Sometimes I have to go back and check. I have all the books electronically, so sometimes I'll have to go back and search for, where she was or what she did or how old she was or where her daughter was. And you want to keep the relationships changing and evolving, but and you have to keep the character fresh. You have to keep her doing new things and feeling new emotions and working on new cases. So I do have to go back a lot because, as you say, it's like one long continuous novel, and try also not to repeat something that I've done earlier also.
Well, thank you very much for talking with me.
Thank you.
Bones of the Lost is available now at Booktopia.